Nordson Corporation is proud to continue to invest in educational opportunities through our sponsorship of Academic Challenge. Nordson is a global leader in precision technology solutions with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. To date, Nordson and the Nordson Corporation Foundation have donated nearly $173 million to charities, awarded $7.5 million in scholarships, and our employees have logged more than 117,000 volunteer hours. Thank you for watching Academic Challenge. Best of luck to all the participants.
This week, teams from
Brunswick!
Olmsted Falls! The USA! Are here for the Nordson Academic Challenge! Hey! Oh, got a good one this week. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. Thanks so much for being here with us. Here's the challenge. For the next 30 minutes, our teams will be tested on their knowledge of subjects like math, science, history, a few others as well. So one more time, let's hear it for our schools. Brunswick, Olmsted Falls, Villa Angela, St. Joseph. The winner today will be the team with the highest point total at the end of our game. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. As it stands right now, the 60 schools that appear this season are all trying to score enough points to make it on this leaderboard. After 20 weeks, the three highest scoring teams are back to play in our 57th Nordson Academic Challenge Championship game. Winner of that game takes home the biggest share of $20,000 in grant money provided by our friends at Nordson. All right, let's get it started where we start every Saturday morning. It's the lightning round. All three teams compete in this round. I ask 10 questions that have a common theme. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We will take away 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. For nothing, let's give every team 100 points. Everybody ready to roll? All your answers here begin with the letters H-A. H-A as in happy. Set? Here we go. This two-word term refers to the scoring of 3 hockey goals by the same player. Brunswick.
Hat trick.
That is correct. This Ivy League university is the country's Brunswick.
Harvard.
That is correct. This ancient Babylonian king was noted for his law.
Hammurabi.
That is correct. This 1066 English battle was won by VASJ.
Hastings.
Hastings is correct. This is the capital city of Vietnam. Brunswick.
Hanoi.
That is correct. The International Court of Justice is in this Dutch city.
Hague.
VASJ.
Hague.
That is correct. Rutherford was the first name of this 19th Brunswick.
Hayes.
That is correct. This American wrote the Scarlet Letter. Brunswick.
Hawthorne.
That is correct. A Dr. Seuss title pairs this food with green eggs. Olmsted Falls. Ham is correct. For our final lightning round question, we welcome the president of Cuyahoga Community College's Metropolitan Campus. It's Dr. Denise McCory.
Scientific research requires all kinds of specialized instruments, such as the Mohs scale, which measures this quality of minerals.
Brunswick.
Hardness.
That is correct, and that is the end of our round. There we go. We are off and running. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this.
Library.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like any information about any of the schools that appear this season, you can scan that QR code you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to the news5cleveland.com Academic Challenge page. We have links for all of our schools this season on that website right there. All right, time for us now to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions selected by the captain of another team. A correct answer here is worth 20 points. There's no penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. Before we get to the questions, let's meet our players. We start with Brunswick's captain, Gideon. Gideon, tell us about yourself.
I'm a senior, and I would like to thank our coach and our alternates for being here today.
Nicely done. You are up, Blake.
I'm also a senior, and I would like to thank our principal, Mr. Merrill, and our other admin for their support.
Good for you. Joseph, we wrap up with you.
I'm a freshman, and I would like to thank all the family and friends who are here today.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. For your questions, Brunswick, we go to Alex, the captain from Olmsted Falls. Alex, 1, 2, 3, or 4?
2.
You got it. All right, Brunswick, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. In Norse mythology, the chief god Odin was often accompanied by what same sort of large black bird that titles an Edgar Allan Poe poem and says nevermore?
Raven.
That is correct. Reading and writing were discouraged among citizens of what ancient militaristic Greek city-state, often at war with Athens?
Sparta.
That is correct. Because paper had not yet been invented, ancient Egyptians wrote on what P-initialed material made from flattened plant stems?
Papyrus.
That is correct. We go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Pierre and Marie Curie had to purify tons of what specific ore in order to obtain a barely visible speck of radium?
Galena.
Pitchblende is the answer there, pitchblende. We move on. The rise of the Roman Empire has been linked to a crop failure caused by atmospheric cooling after the eruption of Okmuk, a volcano in what island chain off Alaska?
The Aleutians.
Aleutian is right. In a work called A Book of Nonsense, Edward Lear popularized what five-line form of humorous verse named for a town in Ireland?
Limerick.
Limerick is correct. We go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What is the average of these two expressions?
(2x + 4).
That is correct, or 4 plus 2x. One of the Versailles Treaty terms which Hitler abrogated in 1938 was the section forbidding an Anschluss, uniting German and what neighboring country?
Austria.
That is correct. Nice round, Brunswick. Good job. All right, that gets us to Olmsted Falls. We start with the captain, Alex. Tell us about yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Alex. I am the president of Young Investors Society and a drum major in our marching band.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. That gets us to Abigail.
Hi, I'm Abigail. I'm a senior. I'm involved in NHS, and I'm the president of the astronomy club.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. Hi, Joe.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm a senior, and I don't really have much more to say about myself, so I'd just like to take a minute to thank our coaches, Miss Miller, Miss Graham, and our other coach, Amanda, who is currently on maternity leave.
Good for you. Nicely done. Welcome this morning, Olmsted Falls. For your questions, we go to Ben, the captain for Villa Angela St. Joseph. Ben, 1, 3, or 4?
3.
You got it. Okay, Olmsted Falls, these are all for you. All set? Here we go. You wouldn't look in the forest, but in the ocean to see what creature that is the largest mammal.
Blue whale.
That is correct. John Steinbeck titled one of his novels East of Eden, a phrase that comes from what first book of the Bible?
Genesis.
That is correct. The Tooth Fairy ran into competition in 2005 when a collector paid over $22,000 for a tooth from what French leader exiled to St. Helena in 1815?
Napoleon.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. In physics, the slug is a unit of which of these?
Mass.
That is correct. Naval officer John Shubrick was a shoo-in for promotion after his service aboard what U.S. ship, nicknamed Old Ironsides? Answer?
Monitor.
The USS Constitution is the answer there, sorry. The poet William Henley declared that he was the captain of what spiritual side of himself, the same essence that Faust sold to the devil?
Soul.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. If y equals 2, solve for x. Answer?
15.
4. 4 is the answer there. In the 1980s, the nation of Gambia tried to form a confederation with what other African country that surrounds the Gambia on 3 sides?
Gibalt.
Senegal. Senegal. Nice round, Olmsted Falls. Good job. All right, that takes us to Villa Angela St. Joseph. We start with Ben, the captain. Ben, you're also the captain of what? The soccer team?
Yes.
Congratulations. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Benjamin. I'm a senior at VASJ. I play bowling, and I'm a captain of the VASJ soccer team.
Good for you. Welcome this morning. Hi, Jake.
Hi. My name is Jake. I'm a senior at VASJ. I run track and cross country, and after the school year, I will be enlisting in the U.S. Navy.
Oh, man, that is awesome. Congratulations on that. Good for you. Maya, you are up.
I am a senior at Villa Angela St. Joseph. I'm part of many extracurriculars, and I would like to shout out Miss Allen and Miss Reynolds.
Good for you. Welcome, Villa Angela St. Joseph, all 3 schools. Thank you so much for being here today. For your questions, we come down to Gideon, the captain from Brunswick. 1 or 4?
4.
You got it. All right, VASJ, all yours. All set? Here we go. You won't find the Sandwich Islands on a modern map, as that was an old name for what group of Pacific islands, now a U.S. state?
Hawaii.
That is correct. Rock carvings that may date from the 6th century were found in what Appalachian state, whose capital is Charleston?
West Virginia.
That is correct. Early explorers sought the 7 cities of Cibola, which were supposedly filled with what precious metal, whose symbol is AU?
Gold.
That is correct. All right, let's go to the monitor now for your science question. Which of these is one of the 2 moons of Mars and was discovered in 1877?
Phobos.
That is correct. What 19th century monk experimented with hereditary characteristics in peas and is known as the father of genetics?
Mendeleev.
Gregor Mendel. Mendel is the last name, I'm sorry. Tales of Space and Time is a book by what man who became the man of the hour with his science fiction novel, The Time Machine? Answer?
No answer.
H.G. Wells is the answer. No worries. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your math question. Reduce this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
3.
1. 1 is the answer. Some historians claim World War II actually began in 1931 when the Japanese invaded what northeastern Chinese region and declared it an independent state?
Manchuria.
That is correct. Nice round, everybody. There's some tough questions in there. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Hey, look who's here. It's our judge, courtesy of our partners at Cuyahoga Community College, Victoria Montero. Victoria helps us all year organizing, assigning judges for our shows. You cannot thank her enough, Victoria. It is always great to see you on a Saturday morning. And we welcome you back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we continue, let's take a look at our scores so far. In third place, 180 points, Olmsted Falls. In second place, 240 points, Villa Angela St. Joseph. Leading the way right now, 380 points, is Brunswick. Hold on. Time for the Picture Perfect round. All 3 teams compete in this round. I ask 8 questions. They all have some kind of visual element. For every correct answer, we give you 20 points. But for a wrong or no answer, we take away 20 points. So hands on your buzzers, eyes on the big monitor down front. All set? Here we go. In this 19th century painting, an artist depicted a family selling birds in what Texas city, where the Alamo is located? Brunswick.
San Antonio.
That is correct. Runaway slaves followed this trail to what Olmsted Falls?
Underground Railroad.
If I completed the question, it's the Ohio River is what we were going for in that question. This is Spain's Charles III, a member of what royal dynasty whose name is associated with Olmsted Falls?
Habsburgs?
Bourbon. Bourbon is the answer there. What is the name of the graph of this equation? Villa Angela St. Joseph.
Circle.
Hyperbola. Hyperbola is the answer there. Symbolizing the sun, this sculpture is on display in the Gold Museum in what Peruvian capital city? VASJ.
Lima.
That is correct. Choice. Which of these is a coagulant frequently added to water to remove suspended sediment? Villa Angela St. Joseph.
Zinc chloride.
Aluminum sulfate is the answer there. This is what author of adventure novels like Treasure Island and Kidnapped? Olmsted Falls.
Stevenson.
That is correct. Time for a delicious meal. Compliments of the chef on this edition of Cleveland Magazine, and compliments to Mesopotamia for the development of agriculture. Which modern country sits there now where Baghdad, Brunswick?
Iraq.
That is correct, and that's the end of that round. Hey, don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We'll mix it up right after this. Show. Let's say hello to our advisors from Brunswick. It's Ben Book. From Olmsted Falls, Alexandra Miller and Sandra Graham are here this morning. And from Villa Angela St. Joseph, Isabel Reynolds and Lauren Allen are here. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for getting the kids here. What a great morning. All right, time now to mix it up. Each one at a time, I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. If a team answers all 6 questions correctly, we give you 25 bonus points. Brunswick, you're up first. Ready to roll? Here we go. Look carefully at this sentence and see if you can name find the name of what noted California university?
Stanford.
That is correct. These three men who signed the Declaration of Independence all came from what middle Atlantic state that was later the first to ratify the Constitution?
Connecticut.
Delaware. Delaware's the answer there, sorry. To change these words into a semi-precious stone and an underwater breathing apparatus, add what Latin word for water?
Aqua.
That is correct. Rearrange the letters in this phrase and you will name what Germanic tribe that sacked Rome in 455 BC and whose name now describes people who maliciously destroy property.
Vandals.
That is correct. You do not have to know Japanese to know that which of these is a type of Japanese theater.
Kabuki.
That is correct. This is the meaning of the name of what powerful Viking chief who discovered Greenland. He was called the Red. Answer?
Leif Erikson.
Eric the Red. Eric is the nice round, Brunswick. Nice job. Okay. Olmsted Falls. Ready to roll? Here we go. Instead of singing, see if you can find hidden in this phrase the name of what American astrophysicist who wrote Just Visiting This Planet. Answer?
Tyson?
That is correct. There it is. This is the title of a biography of what Elizabethan courtier and adventurer whose name has been given to the capital of North Carolina.
Raleigh?
That is correct. What same word fits in both blanks to name a U.S. cabinet department and an important United Nations council?
Security?
That is correct. You can set the pace in the race for points by rearranging the letters in this phrase to get what snaky nickname applied to Northerners who supported the South during the Civil War. Answer? Answer?
No answer.
Copperhead. Copperhead. Of these three Latin phrases sometimes used in legal documents, which one means from the beginning?
Quid pro quo?
Ab initio. This is the view of what man, the co-founder of Facebook and chairman and CEO of Meta?
Zuckerberg?
That is correct. Nice job, Olmsted Falls. Here we go. Villa Angela, St. Joseph, you are up next. You ready to roll? Here we go. You won't need a pardon if you can find here the last name of what first American astronaut to go into space.
Shepard.
That is correct. Right there. Here you see the names of two C-initialed French explorers. Identify a third who gave his name to the large lake on the New York-Vermont border.
Champlain.
That is correct. To change these words to mean excessively critical and excessively active, they should be preceded by what five-letter prefix beginning with H?
Hyper.
That is correct. Rearrange the letters in this anagram and you will get what title held by Japanese military leaders until 1868.
Shogun.
That is correct. Of these three musicians, which is best known for his ballet scores, such as Appalachian Spring?
John Philip Sousa.
Aaron Copland. Aaron Copland, the answer there. This statement was made by what American civil rights leader whose willingness to die for his beliefs led to his assassination in 1968?
MLK.
Martin Luther King Jr., that is correct. Way to go, Villa Angela St. Joseph. We've got ourselves a game. That's the end of that round. We're back with our final and deciding grab bag round. It's all coming up after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Really quick, let's recap our scores right now. Going to the final round, Olmsted Falls, 240. Villa Angela St. Joseph, 320. Brunswick, an even 500. Time now for our grab bag round. All three teams compete in this round. I ask as many questions as time allows. For every correct answer, it's 30 points. But you will lose 30 points for a wrong answer or no answer. Again, this is for all three teams. Hands on the buzzer, eyes on the monitor when we need it. All set? Here we go. Peter Minuet got one of the greatest bargains of all time when he paid $24 for what island, now part of New York City, Villa Angela St. Joe?
Manhattan.
That is correct. American drivers are familiar with deer crossing signs, but Oregon has crossing signs for what other animal? Olmsted Falls?
Moose.
Goats. Goats. Capricorn in the zodiac. In 1989, deep-sea explorer Dr. Robert Ballard discovered the sunken remains of what German battleship named for Germany's Brunswick?
Bismarck.
That is correct. Name for its French inventor. This 1840s picture of the Capitol building is what specific type of photograph? Answer is daguerreotype. Daguerreotype. The modern Prometheus is an alternative title. Brunswick.
Frankenstein.
That is correct. Choice: under ordinary conditions, which of these molecules is not diatomic? Hydrogen, nitrogen, or helium? VASJ.
Hydrogen.
Helium. Helium's the answer. In 1718, a book titled Optics was published, not by an optician, but by what British scientist who had earlier investigated the colors of the visible light spectrum? Olmsted Falls.
Newton.
That is correct. These were the words of what 38th president who succeeded Richard Nixon? Olmsted Falls.
Gerald Ford.
That is correct. The Message is a book by what African-American author who sent an earlier message to readers with his book Between the World and Me?
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
That is correct. After Vasco da Gama charted a what? That's our buzzer. We go right to the scores from there. What a game. There were some tough questions today with 300 points. Olmsted Falls, 320 points. Villa Angela St. Joseph, and the winner of today's academic challenge with 560 points. It's the team from Brunswick. It's a heck of a game. Hey, come on back 1 week from today. We've got teams from Elyria Catholic, Rittman, and Open Door Christian Academy right here. Thanks for watching this one. I'm Rob Powers. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week.